What if the way you love, fight, trust, or even choose your partners was never really your choice? What if the hidden roles you were forced into as a child, scapegoat, golden child, peacemaker, or lost one, are still scripting your adult relationships today? In this video, you won't just uncover patterns. You'll see yourself with new eyes. You'll learn why you repeat the same heartbreaks, why you attract certain people, and most importantly, how to finally break free. Stay with me until the end, because once you understand these roles, you'll never see your relationships the same way again. Before we dive in, don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss new psychology insights. Most people think their struggles in love, trust, and intimacy begin in adulthood, but the truth runs far deeper. Every dysfunctional family creates unspoken roles for its children, survival masks that once protected them but now secretly sabotage their adult relationships. The golden child grows into an adult obsessed with perfection, terrified of failure, and constantly chasing validation from partners who never seem satisfied. The scapegoat carries rebellion into adulthood, drawn toward conflict and chaos, unconsciously recreating the very battles they swore to escape. The lost child becomes invisible even in love, choosing partners who overlook them, fading into the background to avoid rejection, yet aching for intimacy they cannot ask for. And the peacemaker? They grow into the eternal fixer, unable to rest unless everyone else is happy, sacrificing their own needs until resentment silently poisons their relationships. What makes this more haunting is how subtle the repetition is. You may believe you chose freely, but in reality, your childhood script is still whispering in your ear, guiding who you trust, who you fear, and who you love. Psychology shows us that these roles are not destiny. Once you recognize the invisible role you play, you can break the cycle, reclaim your own voice, and finally build relationships that reflect who you truly are, not who your family forced you to be. By the end of this video, you will not only recognize the role you've been carrying all your life, but you'll also understand how to free yourself from it so that love, trust, and connection stop being battles from the past and start becoming choices for your future. Research in family systems theory reveals that these roles are not random. They are adaptive strategies children develop to survive in environments of tension, neglect, or chaos. Neurologically, the brain wires itself around these coping mechanisms, turning them into default relational blueprints. That's why the golden child feels panic when they make mistakes, or why the scapegoat finds comfort in conflict. It's not a choice. It's conditioning. But neuroscience also shows us something hopeful. The brain can rewire. Through awareness, therapy, and intentional practice, we can challenge the old scripts, calm the hypervigilant nervous system, and teach ourselves to trust safety where once there was only survival. The real power lies in recognizing that you are not broken, you were shaped, and what was shaped can be reshaped. This is where healing begins, by seeing your triggers not as flaws, but as echoes of a childhood that demanded roles you no longer have to play. When you look closely, you'll realize that these family roles are not just psychological concepts. They are emotional scars written into your nervous system. The golden child carries the weight of impossible standards, their heartbeat quickening at the thought of failure, as if love itself could vanish with a single mistake. The scapegoat, though seemingly rebellious, is often the most sensitive soul, someone who chose anger because it felt safer than abandonment. The lost child's silence is not emptiness, but a quiet ocean of unmet needs, their absence a shield against the pain of rejection. And the peacemaker, always smiling, always fixing, hides a heart that aches from being loved only when useful. Yet, here lies the paradox. What once kept you safe is now the very thing that keeps you trapped. But science shows us that awareness itself can loosen the chains. Every time you name your role, every time you notice the old script playing out, your brain begins to carve a new pathway. And with it comes the tender, radical possibility of love without masks, of intimacy without fear, of belonging without performance. Healing is not about erasing who you were. It is about embracing that frightened child within you and teaching them, gently, that the war is over. At the heart of it, every role you carried as a child was a silent plea for love, for safety, for belonging. But you are no longer that child. You no longer have to earn your worth by pleasing, fighting, hiding, or perfecting. Healing begins when you dare to step outside the script and write a story that finally belongs to you. Remember, your past may explain you, but it does not define you. And once you see the patterns clearly, you hold the power to break them, to love differently, and to live freely. Don't look away now, because the truth you've just uncovered is only the beginning of your transformation. And maybe the most powerful truth of all is this: you are not condemned to repeat the story you were handed. Neuroscience tells us the brain is plastic. It bends, it reshapes, it learns new rhythms of safety and love. But beyond the science, there is the human heart, longing not just to survive, but to be seen, to be chosen, to be loved without conditions. Every role you carried was never proof of who you are. It was proof of what you endured. And what you endured is not the end of your story. Imagine relationships where you no longer beg for worth, where silence is no longer your prison, where anger no longer burns you alive, and where sacrifice is no longer the only way you know how to love. That future is not fantasy. It begins the moment you dare to look at your reflection and say, I am not my role. I am free to love differently. Before you go, what if 11 hidden scars from your childhood are still controlling your life right now? The next video will reveal them, and it will appear right in front of you.